What's up, guys? We've got a cool story after this, but first, in the last video we had tons of responses. Lots of people disagreed with me, had people agreeing with me too, on these AED thingies that are popping up. And basically what I was saying is that, one, they can be dangerous because it's a high-powered medical device that can either start or stop a human heart. And two, the chances that any one of these are going to save a life are abysmally small. And my argument was that because no one has training in these things. And to my first point about them being potentially dangerous, many people said that they're smart devices, so they don't shock anyone until it's detected that it needs to. And what I would say to that is, as soon as you tamper with something, you can't guarantee what it's going to do. And kids tamper with things, right? If you're going to leave these things lying around in parks where any kid can just grab it, I think that it's being dishonest to say that there's no risk involved in doing something like that. Like I said, the next step would be to leave drugs lying around in parks in case someone has a convulsion or something. And I know that's worse, but just to give you an idea, it's kind of a parallel. And the other thing is that when you actually do use these for their intended use, people are saying that this thing gives out voice alerts, such as do not touch the body as it's shocking the body, right? Because then you can stop your own heart potentially. Like I said, these things are dangerous. But they're not dangerous, people told me, because this thing gives out voice alerts. Do you think some voice alerts like that are going to guarantee people's safety in a public setting where tensions are high? Who knows what's going on around? It might be loud. It's kind of crazy to think that just some simple voice alerts are going to do away with all the training people ought to have to use these high-powered medical devices. To the second point, people kind of said the same thing. They're smart devices, so you don't need training to use them. Therefore, the chances of them saving lives are pretty high because these devices are smart. Anyone can just grab one and save a life when needed. Well, think about it. When the average person sees someone dying, do they even know what it is that's happening? Can they determine the cause of the apparently life-threatening condition this person is suffering from? It could be anything. For someone that doesn't have training, they have no idea. So to think that they would go and grab a high-powered medical device and start shocking them with it is ludicrous. There's no way in hell. It wouldn't even occur, it wouldn't even cross their mind. And that's if one of these things is even close by, because it needs to be close by or else it's too far away, they can't even get it. So even if it is right next to them, 99% of people won't even think about using it. And if they're smart devices, if they're so smart that, let's say, it's worth grabbing it anyway, no matter what someone's suffering from. Maybe they're having an asthma attack. Maybe they're just having a bad anxiety attack. Who knows? Whatever they're having, just grab one of these AEDs and try to shock them because it's so smart. If they're not having a heart attack, it won't shock them, right? So you can't lose. But the average person isn't going to do it anyway. You got to think about how people react in these situations. It's a life or death situation. They're just going to call an ambulance. They're not going to get involved and start playing doctor at an emergency. Only someone with training is going to have that kind of confidence. And if these things were to become effective, you'd need to start delivering training to the masses. And maybe it's not a lot of training, but it's not there. That's the thing. So to just start putting these things out is just stupid. Because for one thing, like I said, they present a real hazard. It doesn't matter how smart these things are. If you've got people tampering with them, then it could be dangerous. You can't guarantee that. And who's going to do that? It's going to be kids. And you leave these things lying in parks and you're asking for it. And the other thing is that why are they coming out now when heart disease has been the biggest killer for actually over 100 years? I said since the 50s. I looked it up. It's actually since 1921 in the United States and probably in most of the developed world. Because like I said, it's mostly related to diet, and most of the developed world eats the same diet. But lately, there has been an increase in heart-related incidents. And the one I'm talking about that relates to diet is called atherosclerosis. It's like one type of heart disease. But what's happening now is I don't even want to mention the name because I don't want to get flagged. But one starts with a P and one starts with an M. And it ends with iditis. So you probably know what I'm talking about. And these have spiked lately, just in the last few years. And many of you probably know what it's about. Just don't say too much about it though, because we'll get flagged, But yeah, some strange stuff has definitely been happening. And for example, this one guy, Shane Warne, he's like the most famous cricketer ever. Probably the most famous Australian sportsman in history. He died recently, and he had 3 servings of this, what would you call it? Lemonade? Kool-Aid? Jonestown? Jonesing for that Kool-Aid? Had 3 servings, and then he died just a few months later. And he even came out, before that, he came out saying on one occasion how the lemonade is not bad and we should have some lemonade. But anyway, he died 3 months later. And on the news, guess what they said?
Australian cricket legend Shane Warne died of natural causes after the 52-year-old passed away on Friday.
Yeah, Warne was found unresponsive in his hotel room on the Thai resort island of Koh Samui and could not be revived at a nearby hospital.
They pretty much said that he died from old age. He was 52. They said he died from natural causes, guys. That was the exact wording they used on the big news channels. All the major mainstream media platforms said he died from natural causes. What does that mean? That's old age, isn't it? If someone can correct me on that, please do. But as far as I can tell, that's what that means. So what on earth are they talking about? Who dies at 52 from old age? He had a heart attack. And they admit that.
Preliminary evaluations from Thai authorities suggested Warne died from a heart attack.
But they're saying it's from old age. Weird, huh? But going back to these AED things, it's still stupid, even if heaps more people and heaps younger people are now having heart attacks. Like I said, it still doesn't even make sense to put these things around because of the statistics. If the vast majority of people aren't even going to use these things when they're needed, then you've got a poor chance overlapping on top of another poor chance. Do you know what I mean? Because one of these things would have to be nearby, right? When someone has a heart attack, which is already abysmally unlikely. And then if they do, someone around at the time has to actually go and grab this device and utilize it effectively. And that's abysmally small again, because like I said, most people won't do it in a real world situation. If they actually cared about people's health, do you not think that they would target all the junk food that's being pushed out to the masses, which is the actual cause of the vast majority of heart-related deaths and ailments in general? And it's not just heart disease, it's diabetes, it's neurological disorders, it's all kinds of things. So many different types of cancers. So, to me, they don't give a shit, or they're just stupid. Maybe they really do care, and the way they go about it is just... And I want to talk about this lemonade again. The forced lemonade. Except you don't drink it, it goes into your veins. And you don't know the ingredients. Because, this lemonade is patented. It's a private product from a private company. This company actually has a criminal record. Or there's 4 companies making it, but the biggest one that starts with a P, I don't even want to say its name, has a criminal record so profound that they've actually had to pay billions of dollars because of all the damage they've caused. People have died, they've become paralyzed, all sorts of things have happened because of the products they've made in the past, right? And now they've come out with this new lemonade, and it was being forced on us, right? Or they tried. First time in history that a medicine has been forced or attempted to be forced onto the masses. This has happened during wars and, it's been done to prisoners and stuff, but not to the public. And if you go back just a few months, probably about a year actually, they were saying that this lemonade is so good that it's 94% effective. That's what they were saying a year ago. 6 months later, they were saying this.
So far, the science shows that people with only 2 doses of a COVID have only a 4% protection against being infected by the
moronic
variant. Just 4%. With a 3rd dose, it can provide a 64% protection against infection.
So it went from 94% effective with just 1 glass of lemonade to 4% effective with 2 glasses of lemonade. 4%. Is this some kind of joke? They're saying it with serious looks on their faces, so I presume it's not a joke. And now they've come out with the 3rd glass of lemonade, right? So what do they think? What are they going to say? Okay, so now if you've only had 2 glasses of lemonade, it's only 4% effective. But if you have a 3rd glass now, they're going to promise you what? Let's say 80%.
With a 3rd dose, it can provide a 64% protection.
If you have 3 glasses of lemonade, and then 6 months later, they're gonna come out saying, oh, sorry, actually, if you've had 3 glasses of lemonade, it's only 4% effective. Not 80. 4. Fucking 4. And then you're gonna need a 4th to boost it back up to God knows what. But at this point, nothing that they say even matters, because if they go from 94 to 4 within the space of 6 months, how the hell are you going to trust anything coming out of these people's mouths? These people are the same people, by the way, that force us to ride these purple scooters that lay around in the gutter, rain or shine, lithium-powered electric vehicles. For our safety, we can't buy our own scooter that's exactly the same and ride it, maintain it, be accustomed to riding it, not just picking up random scooters off the gutter and riding them in traffic. You see the logic here? The lack of logic? You get massive fines too if you buy your own scooter and do the right thing, maintain your brakes and everything. Don't leave it in the freaking rain so it could set on fire as you're riding this thing in traffic. Then you get an $1,800 fine. You gotta grab the scooter from the gutter. That's how we do it here in Australia. And I'm sure it's like that in many parts of the world, because it's all seems to be the same, doesn't it? Like this crap that just happened with this moronic stuff, right? I'll just call it moronic. It happened everywhere in the world, didn't it? The entire world went in lockstep together into this insanity. Crazy. Pretty much the whole world. Maybe like a few countries didn't, a few in Africa didn't, and guess what happened to their presidents? They got freaking killed. I think at least four of them that went against the lemonade, they died. What a coincidence, huh? Look it up. There's like four leaders in Africa. There's heaps of other stuff too, but I don't want to talk about too much because this is like a topic that can get you flagged. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we won't go too deep into this stuff. I got a cool story in the next episode though, so look out for that video coming out probably in a couple of days.